sights, sounds, and information just for you from your friends at ASM.
Welcome to the turn of night.
It is the evening of Wednesday, July 11th, and possibly the end of the weirdest 3 days of my life. I have only vague and distant memories of this time period and can only deduce from grocery and takeout receipts, freshly laundered clothes, and no complaints from my job that I've carried out my duties as normal. It seems that I've flown on autopilot, but that's not even the most disturbing part. I have pinpointed the previous Saturday night at around 10:30 p.m. as the beginning of this story. Every Friday and Saturday night, anywhere from 40 to 60 people gather in a clearing near the forest on the edge of town. This particular hobby began a few years ago due to a supposed rash of UFO sightings in the area. I know most everyone who attends, and it's a fun and inexpensive social gathering. While we're referred to as Star Watchers or Space Junkies, even those locals that don't attend enjoy the tourism dollars and fanfare surrounding these activities. So much so that chain stores and financial institutions have sprung up as part of our growing economy. The local authorities don't mind our grilling, bonfires, or alcohol, so long as it's enjoyed responsibly. Shortly after 10, I had arrived with a folding chair and backpack containing binoculars, a camera, and a few drinks. There were already others setting up their spots and some selling merchandise related to our activity. I heard a faint cry from the nearby woods. I turned to look, and it appeared as though someone had tripped in the brush. Very clearly, I heard another sound. It seemed that someone indeed required assistance. Jogging over, I entered the area and found a young lady who I figured had been running but tripped. I bent down to ask if she was injured, but she replied that she was out of breath and needed a moment. I could hear rustling in the woods, as if a group were heading in our direction. She looked at me, and although not unattractive, she was also not quite human. She pleaded with me to distract them as they meant her harm. I nodded to her and extended my hand to help her up. As I did, I felt dizzy and, truth be told, a little bit stoned. She thanked me, handed me a business card for one of the new banks that had set up shop here in town, and said, "Take this. And remember, Wednesday, July 11th, 2 p.m. She ran off faster than anyone I've ever seen. At that moment, 3 men appeared from the brush and asked if I'd seen a young woman. They explained that she'd been messing around on their property and to let them know if I spot her at the UFO party. Again, I nodded. At this point, I remember feeling compelled to gather my things and to head home. There's not much that I can recall over the next 3 days, other than that I seemingly did everything I normally would. One memory, though, is that I knew it was absolutely necessary to visit the new bank on Wednesday at 2 p.m. I sort of remember entering the newly constructed building at the instructed time for my appointment, being ushered into the manager's office and offered a seat and a cup of coffee. I felt like I was waking up a bit, yet still experiencing that faraway feeling brought on by a severe head cold, although I didn't feel ill. Far from it, in fact. A calm euphoria washed over me as the bank managers, a male and female, began to speak. The room shifted, as did their appearances. They too were no longer human. Our purpose for being here was to collect artifacts that had been lost during a previous mission to this planet, as they have great meaning to our race. While we finished gathering them, we've decided to stay a bit longer as we now have other plans which we will not share with you. However, you did aid one of our crew members. At that moment, the young lady from Saturday night appeared and acknowledged me, and then exited the room. She is what you would refer to as a medical practitioner. The effects you have felt recently were from your direct contact with her. During this time, any ailments you've had are now cured. You may also be immune to most every illness on your planet. While we will not share our true purpose here, your compassion for another species must be rewarded with a token of our gratitude. Now, drink the liquid in front of you, and you will return to your familiar state. I took a sip. It was coffee. Dark and delicious and hot. The smell was heavenly. Suddenly, I felt wide awake for the first time since the previous Saturday. As I placed the mug back down on the desk, the bank managers were congratulating me on my new account and their institution signing bonus of $200 for choosing them for my banking needs. I was handed my account materials and given a handshake and a smile. It's now early Thursday evening. Having spent most of last night trying to understand what just happened, I took a look at my new bank account and the money I'd received for merely opening an account. To my surprise and most certainly shock, the account has a balance of $100,000. Not trusting my own sense of reality, I called the branch and the 24-hour customer service line. It's been explained to me by both parties that the $200 was for a limited time only, and that the rest of the money I had deposited myself, and assured this was not a banking error. That was last month. The money is still in my account and my health has never been better. I can't say for sure that I had any encounter with aliens. Those 3 days might be over, but I also know that something else has begun. That new bank that only had a few locations in select cities? Well, they're being advertised in print, radio, television, social media, and a pop-up ad on every website. They are everywhere.
The lights are on as the evening shadows are creeping in. Hopefully, you won't get caught in the turn of night.